Your dad say you Johnny come lately. Oh, yo, but they don't know about your history. All the things you have been through was too much for you. Yet you had resilience to stand them. Revolution, intervention, and coup. Yet you produce some beautiful children. This is the land that has famous people like Junior Murray. This is the land, Anderson Peters and Champion Kirani. Land of my birth. Let's celebrate 50, we cannot let off my birth. Let's celebrate 50, it would be great. This is the land, we produce people like the mighty sparrow. This is the land, Randy Isaac, Becky, we did a jamo. Land of my birth. Let's celebrate 50, we cannot let off my birth. Let's celebrate 50, it would be great. We don't talk much about your troubles, no, no. You have been through many struggles, that's true. Yet you rose up from the rubbles, yeah, yeah. Proving resilience as a people. Storms and hurricane, yet you came back again. Even COVID-19 couldn't stop you. So much destructive human try to destroy this island. Yet we're standing strong as a nation. This is the land, let's remember the godfather of this country. This is the land, the right honorable Eric Matthew Gary. Land of my birth. Let's celebrate 50, we cannot let off my birth. Let's celebrate 50, it will be great. This is the land, yeah, Mary Shokit, Mitchell and Deacon. This is the land, some strong leaders that come from this island. Land of my birth. Let's celebrate 50, we cannot let off my birth. Let's celebrate 50, it would be great. Big celebration for my little island. Let's celebrate, oh, let us celebrate. Big celebration for my little island. Let's celebrate, whoa, whoa, let us celebrate. Let's celebrate 50, we made it to half a century. Let's celebrate, whoa, whoa, come, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate 50, we made it to half a century. Let's celebrate, yeah, yeah, let's celebrate. Whoa. This is the land, we have got Felix and Jennifer hosting. This is the land, Maurice Bishop, Howard Blaze and George Grison. Land of my birth. Let's celebrate 50, we cannot let off my birth. Let's celebrate 50, it will be great. This is the land, we have Killer Boys, it all free and squeezy. This is the land, Dash Terra Thunder and Little Natty. Land of my birth. Mr. Light, King Color, Teacher Eddie. Land of my birth. Valinet and Lady Cynthia. Land of my birth. Lava Man, who live back and electrify. Land of my birth. Whoa, 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 whoa. Land of my birth. I just cannot mention everybody. Land of my birth. All Grenadians just sing this song with me. Land of my birth. Land of my birth. Land of my birth. Land of my birth. Land of my birth.
This little country just only 50. They run them out. They say Grenada is a waste of time. They cast them down. They say that the country is in decline. Since 74, and it's like she don't really go nowhere. In fact, they know that she has been in river since that day. But I am her son, a devoted one, with the rod and staff. I'm here on her behalf, just to issue a simple message. punch above her weight. So much patriot, have a running map. She winning medal in athletics, in the World Games and the Olympics. I hope they put some respect to her name. She faced Ivan, that deadly storm, and as that done, Emily come. She take a hit, but in retreat, many others would not make it. So please, please, please give her some time. She's not yet in her prime. She's only 15. Oh, oh, give her some time. She's not yet in her prime. She's only half a century. Hey, hey, hey. Sing, whoa. I know for sure
And a special good night to each and every one of you.
I couldn't.
As you can tell, I'm a bit late tonight. Extremely sorry, but it's a Friday night, and my arrangements for Friday night are different to my arrangements for during the week. Yeah, you hear phone still on, all kind of thing. Let me mute it there one time. Yeah, so my arrangement for Friday nights are different to the arrangements that I have during the week. So it sort of threw me off this evening while trying to get into a studio. All right, so we're going to begin in a short while. I'm just making sure everything is all well and ready to go. And you know what? Let me touch a tune here. I think this one is by Miney. Let me make sure. I think that's the Miney. Yeah, let's try this one. No, that's not the one I wanted. No, that's definitely not the one I wanted. I think it's this one. Let me see. I think this might be it.
One people, one journey, one future is all we. Yeah, is all away. A sight to say. Let me tell you about my country. My country is so dear to me. Establishing.
And of course, it is Talking Points. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Talking Points is on. Here we are. Last night, someone asked a question about the CBI program, and I realized that we have a lot of new listeners who probably did not hear our discussions during 2023 on the issue of citizenship by investment. So I want to revisit that tonight and one or two other things.
Together we'll build Aspire. Together build Advance. That's the motto of my land, my sweet homeland.
This is one of the songs making it into the semi-finals of the Independence Calypso competition.
My sweet homeland, my land, my sweet home.
Take it back from the top. Next thing I'll go say I talk over the song. I really enjoy it. All right.
One people, one journey, one future is all we. Yeah, is all away. A sight to say. Let me tell you about my country. My country is so dear to me. Established in the 14th centuries, colonized in the 18th centuries. Independence 74. Grenada had freedom for so. Thanks to Mr. Eric Gary and to T.M. Mary Shaw. Some call the Camahan, some call the Conception Island, others call the La Grenada. We call the Grenada. That's the name we truly prefer. Together we'll build Aspire. Together build Advance. That's the motto of my land, my sweet homeland, my land, my sweet homeland, my land, my sweet homeland, my land, my sweet homeland. Grenada, 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 wonders. Welcome stone the lakes of wonders. Mountain high and fireside. You will always meet a smile. Face and race don't matter to we. Hearts and hands help build this country. This is home, welcome to my place. Rain or shine, it's plenty niceness. That's the place we truly prefer. Together we'll build a spire. Together build advance. That's the motto of my land, my sweet homeland, my land, my sweet homeland.
Yes, indeed. We know she could real sing, eh? Yeah.
Homeland, my land, my sweet homeland.
Yes, we do.
Grenada, 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 Grenada. 'Cause there is no island in the world, no place that you'd rather be than right here in my country. I'm telling you, go all over the world, no place that you'd rather be than right here in my country. Masterclass experience to see one people we on one journey. Head up high, walking with pride. Future bright, let's take full flight. Many trials we've encountered, all is one breaking down barriers. Grenada, the land of spice, no retreat like this paradise. 3 islands, one guarantee. Once a year, you won't want to leave. Take a walk or take a drive. Safest place you'll be in life. For this land, I'm singing this song. On the side is where I belong. Together, build advance. That's the motto of my land, my sweet homeland, my land, my sweet homeland, my land, my sweet homeland, my land, my sweet homeland. Grenada, 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 Grenada. Together building a fire, together taking it higher is all our way. A sight to say. Together building a fire, together taking it higher is all our way. A sight to say.
Yes, indeed. And that one is by Miney. Yes, indeed. We're going to open the phone lines before I get into the full discussion. I'm going to do that within the next 10 minutes, but I'm going to give you all an opportunity to call in. 440-7377-347 329-3101. I'm just getting some information there. What I'm seeing there, man, I really can't believe some of the stuff that I'm seeing going on in our country right now. Believe me. I saw those kind of videos and pictures and so coming out of Trinidad. But as Grenada, no, I never saw those sort of things with guys posing with the guns and so on. And I mean, no. Never, I've never seen anything like that before for our island. Yeah, it's I'm very concerned about some of the stuff that I'm seeing, believe me. Yeah, very, very concerned. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get on the inside. Good night to you, Zayla. Good night to you, Zoe, before they start to complain and thing. Zoe and Zayla, good night. Zalia, good night. Neela and Namara, Deshaun, good night to all of you.
Help me understand a holy celebration.
And let me also say a special good night to all of you joining us via the YouTube. Those of you joining us via We Noise Radio. Those of you on the Facebook. We say a special good night to each and every one of you. And on the YouTube, I see Agnes Henry, Shannon Thomas, Sky, Alban Harris, Claude Abraham, Jackie Raymond, Vanessa Lalji, Maria Noah, Listra Abraham, Kathleen Knights, Gavin Thomas, Errol Bonaparte, Kathleen Ledlow, Michelle Alexander, Veronica Lois, Hillary Joseph, Public Notice, Shrejan John, good night to you, Maud Martin, Sherma Jeremiah, Baby Daddy, JC Sherry, good night, and Alan Jones, yes sir, Carib Spice Fitness, Afi Monroe, and Andrews, Janice Mitchell, Deborah Laborde, Hermina Batiste, And Good Life, did I shout you out already? Just in case not, good night to you. Jacinta Livingston, Christine Otley, Velma Pascal, Esther Frederick, Savage Gold Queen, Matthew, good night to you. Ashma Charles, Lona Lolo Williams, Dominic Leroy, Angie. All right, good night to you. And Anne Leo, Dominic Antoine, Teresa Joseph, Chris London, Dan Batiste, Cynthia Bartholomew, Cindy Thomas, Barbara Henry, Shirley and James, Kim Creedland, Ron Julian, Eliza Bernard. Nearly thought it was another run that day, Eliza Bernard. Hillary Joseph, good night to you. Adrian Watts, you and the home circle, your lovely wife, good night to all of you. Matthew Bowen, my brother. Dennis Fabio, Carl Jones, Faithful in Hallie Douglas, Jenna Benjamin, Anne-Marie Grant, Jerome Lewis, good night, Natalia John, Lucy Queen. Lucy Queen, my Lucian people. I say you up in Grosley right now in Fish Friday. Chris London, Desiree Joseph, Jacinta Alves, Stephanie John, Jocelyn Matthew, Steve Sylvester, and on the Facebook, I see Sherms. Yeah, Sherms, good night to you. Because adorable Kathy Gilbert Levine, I've got a message for you. We need to talk. Brenda Phillip, inbox me, please, Kathy Levine. Landon Jane, Ingrid Bourne, Gil Williams, Dennis Fabio, Kimlin Allard, Donna Langdon, Hermione Regis, and Ingrid Bourne, Jill Williams, I see you there, Enid Decoto, Crystal Theodore, I know you're there as well. You're not hearing, Crystal? Is the audio, everything okay, friends? Julie Dubois, good night to you, Doc. Ann Jackson, and Shanron Felix, Deborah Flanders, and let me see, Norma Roberts, Cleaver Williams, Ellie Noel, Yolanda Morin, Shamin Ragbasing, Yvonne Courtney, and I see Teresa Frederick, Sonny Isle, Nakisha Jones, Kenrick Gordon, Etta Batiste, each and every one of you joining us. Joyce, good night to you. Each and every one of you joining us tonight. I want to say a very, very special good night to each and every one of you, and hope that you all are having a fabulous, very fabulous night tonight. Yeah? Shemi, good night to you. Good night to Keda, wherever she is.
Man, there is a place that is under the sun, 133 square miles. Even though we're very small, come visit, you'll have a ball. I tell you, this is a paradise. A lot of people don't know we have nutmeg and cocoa. That is how we came deep.
So, folks, just a reminder, on Monday night, Talking Points will be going live, but we will be going live with that interview with Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, former Prime Minister, leader of His Majesty's opposition. That will be taking place on GBN Beyond the Headlines. It starts roughly at 8:30, but we will still go live at 8. Yeah, we still will go live at 8, but the interview with Dr. Mitchell is going to start roughly at, that's 8:30. All right, so we will be live for that. All right, nice.
Now won't you join with me and sing this melody?
I'm still considering whether I'm going to come in studio for the half hour, what I'm going to do. I'm still kind of neither here nor there with it yet, exactly how I'm going to play that one.
Even the blind could see, this year is history, our golden jubilee. Now I know there was a time.
So as we said, we're going to be talking citizenship by investment tonight. Now, folks, there's a lot we could say in relation to this particular issue. And it is an issue that we are yet to have a clear understanding of where this administration stands in relation to certain aspects of it. And I say that to say this. Now, when it comes to the CBI program, when it comes to that particular program, all of us know the many negative statements, negative things that were said about that program by the National Democratic Congress in years gone by. You had them saying that it was an avenue for bringing criminals and crooks into Grenada. Yeah? That's one of the things that they was out there saying. You're going to bring criminals and crooks into Grenada, and we're going to end up in a situation where we have our passports in the hands of international criminals. So you would never expect that an NDC administration would continue with a citizenship by investment program. And they can't say that members who are now even in cabinet within the NDC administration were not part of the NDC and part of that organization when these statements about the CBI program were being made. But now, we find ourselves in a situation where not only do we have a situation where there are members of the cabinet who are CBI agents. And when I say that, let me just clarify for you all. Yeah, when I say that there are members of the cabinet who are CBI agents. Now, when someone applies to the CBI program, they do so through a local agent. You have the marketing agents out there who may go and find the people and tell them that Grenada is a good place to become part of the program. Yeah, to become part of Grenada's CBI program. So you have marketing agents out there. There are marketing agents based in various countries around Europe and so on that actively go after people who may be looking for a second passport, a second citizenship. And it's not just about the passport, because they're making an investment and the passport comes as part of the package. So it's not that you're just selling a passport, but you are offering a person, a high net worth individual, the opportunity to invest. So there may be a hotel project in Grenada. Let's say that hotel project costs $60 million to build. The investor who is coming in to build that hotel may say, well, here's what. For the 60 million, I have, let's say I have 20 million, right? So I need to be able to raise 40 million additional to the 20 million that I have cash ready to build that hotel. The government would say to that investor, okay, we are going to allow you, right, to market your project as a CBI project where people can invest in it. So you have investors who would come in, and each of them would come in and put at times with 250,000 or 350,000. So you have investors who would come in, they would place their money into that particular project. When they do that, they expect returns. So it's not that I put 250 and I expect to get 250 back. You put 250 and you expect that over a period of time, you may make that and more. Yeah? But you are also given citizenship of Grenada and you receive a Grenada passport as part of the package to sweeten the deal then. So this is what is taking place under the CBI program. That's some of the ways that the CBI program has been assisting. There's the other component where you can basically contribute towards the national fund, which is then used for various developmental projects in Grenada. Yeah? So there are different aspects to it. But in order for them to complete the process, and somebody who wants to invest in a project, they need to go through a marketing agent. They may contact the person who is doing the hotel, the investor who is doing the hotel, somebody from outside who wants to invest in that particular project. They may contact the people that are running the project and say, well, we want to invest. Now they have to go through a local agent. The marketing agents are finding them out there, but they still have to go through a local agent. So the local agent is basically the person that the funds go through and so on, and they are the ones that relate with the CBI unit and make sure that everything is done properly, right? And then the CBI unit, Grenada's CBI unit, before confirming that that person can become part of Grenada's CBI program, would do various checks on that individual. So according to what country the person is from, Grenada's CBI unit through the FIU and so on would contact the police in that country and find out if there's an outstanding warrant, if there's an ongoing investigation, if that person has already spent time in prison and so on, right? So All of these checks take place. Then, outside of that, Grenada checks with the American system, the FBI and so on, because sometimes the people in your country have no files on you, they're not looking for you. But the Americans may be, the Canadians may be, the British may be, the Germans may be, right? Or even the Chinese may be. So you have to check with these major international bodies like Interpol to ensure that there's not a notice or an active investigation going on in relation to that individual. When all that information comes back to Grenada's CBI unit, then once they are sure that this person isn't involved in some sort of criminal activity or terrorist activity, etc., once all that information comes back, then they would take that person and approve that person to be in Grenada's CBI program, relate that information to the local agent, who then continues to transact on behalf of that individual. Now, local agents make significant amounts of money, right? Local agents make significant amounts of money. And when it comes to that, we have to understand that our present Prime Minister, contrary to the impression that he's giving, is a CBI local agent. In fact, what they did in the past is that they removed his name on the original list. And let me see if I can just pull up the original list here, right? I'm trying to find the original list of CBI agents, right? And this is what was up until we started speaking about it on Talking Points. When we started speaking about it, they removed this. So let me just pull this up for you to see. Yeah, they removed this. Now it says here, right? Local agents and their respective contact information. It says here, and you can see there are other people who are agents, yes. But you can see here, Mitchell and Partners, Inc., Unit number 1, Hobson House, St. John Street, St. George, Grenada. That's just below the Magistrates Court. Yeah, you would see Mitchell and Partners, Inc. They're there. They also have a location in the that mall in Grenada. It's not the Spiceland Mall. The Excel Plaza. They also have a location, I believe, down there. And you can see here clearly the phone numbers, and you can see the email, deacon@mitchellsco.com, skeeter@mitchellsco.com. And this, of course, is the present Prime Minister of Grenada. Now, what they have done since we started speaking out in relation to this particular issue and the fact that the Prime Minister is a CBI agent, and let me just pull it up for you, is that they have removed, and let me see if I can get it up here. Right, let me just see if I can pull this up for you all to see here. Right, so this is the CBI website. This is Grenada's CBI website that I have up on the screen right now. If you come under here, not home, not CBI, under how to apply, yeah, and you check under local agents, and you go over the list now, Mitchell and Partners is still there, but now they have removed the Prime Minister's information. Now, Mitchell and Partners is not owned by Williams, is not owned by Lewis, is not owned by Frederick. Mitchell and Partners with the first name in it. And in fact, the only real name in it, the other one is Partners. So there are others that are shareholders, most likely, in the business. But we know who the main person behind the business is, because it's in the name, Mitchell. And that's not Dr. Keith Mitchell. That is, as we saw from the documentation I put up before, Deacon Mitchell. So your Prime Minister is a local agent in relation to this. And where this is of even more concern is the fact that he has been traveling to various CBI forums forums being held by Henley and Partners. We'll get to what who and what Henley and Partners are a little later on. But he has been traveling to various fora on behalf of Henley and Partners, going and speak at these Henley and Partners forums, being staged by Chris Kalin. I think the last one he was at was in Dubai. I know when they're having one again this year, he will be there again. I am absolutely sure he'll be out there again. Yeah? So, I had to play a birthday tune tonight, but I just got a message there. I must play that birthday tune or I have to walk home. Yeah, so back to the issue at hand, yeah. So, your Prime Minister is presently a CBI agent, but not just your Prime Minister. Yeah? Not just your Prime Minister. So let me give another example here of two individuals who are also CBI agents. Mr. Dennis Sylvester Matthew Cornwall. Give all the name there. So you can't say it is the wrong person. Mr. Dennis Sylvester Matthew Cornwall. The name of the company is Citizenship and Corporate Services Limited. And I would challenge you to find out who have been the employees of Citizenship and Corporate Services Limited. If there are other employees outside of Mr. Cornwall himself, they are recent additions. I bet you they have not been working as long as 18 months as part of Citizenship and Corporate Services Limited, but would be new additions, if any, have been added. So in other words, the Minister of Finance, Mr. Dennis Sylvester Matthew Cornwall, is also a CBI agent. He's also a Citizenship by Investment local agent. What does this mean? This means that the very person who has to give concessions to the original investor, in other words, the person who come here and say, I bill in the hotel, I have 20 million and I need to get some concessions on my materials or some help with the land and different things like that, or whatever it is, whatever concessions they need. Whether they need concessions on when they've completed, they need concessions for a period of 10, 15, 20, 25 years, 30 years concessions on the various inputs, or that they are forgiven, they don't have to pay any tax on alcoholic drinks for a period of 10 years. Yeah, hotels get concessions like that. And the person to give those concessions is the Minister of Finance, who in this case happens to be Mr. Dennis Sylvester Matthew Cornwall. So they can't say you have two Dennis Cornwalls and this is the same person. Yeah? That concerns me in that the very person who has to give concessions to the company that is getting people to take CBI, that very person is the Minister of Finance who has to give concessions to the company that bringing in the people. In other words, the company can say, well, here, and I'm not saying this is what has happened. I'm saying this can happen and this could be happening. They can easily say, that company can easily say, hey, we need, we're going to bring in 10 people, but we're going to pass them through your company. But we want a concession for A, B, or C. It opens the door to corrupt practices again. I'm not saying that is what is happening. I'm saying that that could happen and that may be happening. And what is even more worrying is that the Prime Minister was Minister of Finance. So the very same thing could have been happening under him. So you could have had a situation here in Grenada where your then Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, who is, and you can't tell me there was and there's not, the company named after you. So the only way that I would be satisfied that he's no longer a local agent is not by the people within CBI getting frightened and go and taking his email and his name off of the website. It would be by him having his company revoked as a CBI company, and the same goes for citizenship and corporate services. Yeah, the same goes for this company. That is a company being run by the present Minister of Finance, because it opens the door to the perception of corrupt practices. And the other night we went over the Integrity in Public Life Act. We went over an aspect of it. Remember, it's not just the actual act. You also have to avoid the perception that corruption is taking place. But that isn't the end of it. You also have here the trade ambassador, Miss Andrea St. Bernard. And if you're going to Cooperative Bank on Church Street and you look across the road and you see the big letters of the ASB, that is the company here. ASB, number 15 Church Street, St. George. Now, the Prime Minister has said that when it comes to issues of this, because remember, these CBI things, they have to, number one, after they go through all the thing with the CBI committee and so, they still have to be sent to cabinet, to be approved. Who is in cabinet? The two agents again, the Prime Minister and Mr. Dennis Sylvester Cornwall, the Minister of Finance. So after you've gone through the process and the CBI unit has gone and they check with FIU and they check with the police in the different countries and they check the finances of the person and they realize everything is all well and good. This is a good and decent person to become a citizen of Grenada through the CBI. After they've done all of that and the local CBI company has said, yes, this is okay and everything, and the bank, which is, I believe, the Cooperative Bank does the banking and so for these various institutions. When that is complete and everything is okay, they send it to cabinet. And the two CBI agents, the two local CBI agents are sitting in there. So you're telling me that there are absolutely no applications coming from Mitchell and Partners. And I want them to be very careful how they answer that one. Between the 23rd of June 2022 and now, that there have been no applications under CBI coming to the Cabinet of Grenada on behalf of Citizenship and Corporate Services Limited, Mitchell and Partners, and of course for the treasurer of the NDC's company, the treasurer of the NDC and the trade councillor, whatever they call it, but a diplomat, Miss Andrea St. Bernard. You're telling me that absolutely no applications prepared by these three companies are coming to cabinet, that none, they just out of the CBI business totally? If you believe that, I have a bridge between Grenada and Carriacou to sell you. It built already. If you believe that, I have a bridge between Grenada and Carriacou for sale. Yeah? It's built already. Yeah? And when? Remember, the present Prime Minister of Grenada, when questioned in relation to the issue of taking funds from CBI, because remember there was this talk about the Prime Minister, the present Prime Minister and the people with the Kimpton by Kawana, the original developers who were there. There was this talk that still circulates that they were the ones funding his election campaign. And we have to remember what he had to say when that question was posed to him. Yeah, let's hear what he had to say. Oh dear, sorry.
I'm going to raise now, and then we're going to move on to a couple of the global topics really quickly. But would CBI be funding your campaign in any way?
I don't know that CBI would be funding my campaign in any way. But I would say this, given what I've said about the CBI campaign, if there are persons in the CBI team who wish to donate to the National Democratic Congress, I will certainly accept the funds. As I said, the CBI process.
Again, because the audio on that particular interview was not that clear, but he did say, and I'll just pull it back a bit for you, he was asked the question, would you be willing to take money from the CBI? Basically, that's what he was being asked, and he said yes, he's willing to take. Let's hear.
My campaign anyway. But I would would say this, what I've said about this.
Let me just bring it right back so you can hear again, because as I said, the audio is sort of difficult to hear.
With you before we went to break, which I'm going to raise now, and then we're going to move on to a couple of the global topics really, really quickly. But would CBI be funding your campaign in any way?
I don't know that CBI would be funding my campaign in any way. But I would say this, what I've said about the CBI campaign. If there are persons in the CBI team who wish to donate to the National Democratic Congress, I will certainly accept the funds, as I've said.
So, if there are persons within the CBI that are willing to donate to the National Democratic Congress, he is willing to accept the funds. Remember, the person who said that is the same one that accused the NNP of taking funds from people under CBI. And up to now cannot present the cabinet conclusion that he claims exists that proves corrupt practices. Cannot up to this point in time present the documentation. But here he was, just before the election, saying that he is willing to take money from CBI investors for the election campaign. Yeah? So we have him on record saying that he is willing to take money from CBI investors for the campaign. And there was another instance when he was questioned in relation to the issue of the CBI. Yeah? There's another instance when he was questioned in relation to the issue of the CBI. Let's play that one for you now. Yeah, let's play that one for you now.
Prime Minister, what have you done and other members of your administration who were CBI agents before the election to ensure to minimize notions of conflicts of interest? So in other words, as your law firm registered as a CBI agent, so is Mr. Cornwall and Ms. Andrea St. Bernard. What are you doing to ensure that there are no conflicts of interest there?
Well, just to clarify, my law firm has never been a CBI agent. That's what.
Well, except on the website. Go ahead.
No, let me finish. I've been at pains to say that. I was a partner, not my firm, myself. Was a partner in a separate business called Mitchell & Partners, where I was the principal of that entity. Both as relates to my law firm and that entity, I do not practice. Right? Okay. So that's clear. And I've made that clear. I do not work in my law firm, nor do I work in Mitchell & Partners.
Now, we have to listen very carefully when the Prime Minister speaks, because he's saying that he was part, his law firm doesn't take part in. His law firm is Mitchell & Company. That's a different organization. But Mitchell & Partners is a company that is involved, and he's saying is involved because it's still registered. It is still on the CBI, the Government of Grenada's website. While they have removed his name, it's still there. And even if he doesn't practice as a partner, he still gets paid. So he doesn't have to actively be sitting in that office, but he is still going to be paid. So let's hear.
Partner, not my firm, myself, was a partner in a separate business called Mitchell & Partners, where I was the principal of that entity.
And again, he was the principal, so the person who getting the most money out of this thing, you know who it is.
Both as relates to my law firm and that entity, I do not practice. Right? Okay. So that's clear. And I've made that clear. I do not work in my law firm, nor do I work in Mitchell & Partners. And so I certainly have nothing to do with this. In fact, I think I've made a point. I've been at pains to communicate to the CBI office repeatedly that obviously I'm not a practicing CBI agent. Similarly, I'm not a practicing attorney at law because I am unable to do so. And the same, I think, applies for Honorable Minister Cornwall, who holds a ministerial portfolio. So therefore, as a public servant, he can't practice privately. Ms. St. Bernard is an advisor to the government, but she's not a public servant in the same capacity as myself and Minister Cornwall. And so in those circumstances, her business continues. So what I can...
Again, I disagree with the Prime Minister here, and the integrity in public life is very clear on that. And she ought not to be continuing. Even when she was just an advisor to the government, she ought not to have been allowed to continue because she was part of the governance structure of Grenada as an advisor. Is the Prime Minister telling us that she was doing that pro bono? She wasn't being paid while being an advisor? And now, is she not being paid as a diplomat? Is she not carrying a diplomatic passport? Is she not out there representing Grenada? And as such, her business should not be carrying on. In fact, all three should be barred from practicing. All three companies, because whether the Prime Minister is sitting in the office and receiving the calls and making the calls or not, when the company makes money, he makes money. And he is the person that's actually signing off on the citizenship of the people under the CBI program. So there he is sitting in the office, signing off on the citizenship of people that his company, that he is part of, may have brought in, or that his Minister of Finance may have brought in, or that his treasurer of the NDC may have brought in. So I don't know what the Prime Minister is trying to tell us, but anyway, let's hear the rest.
So that he can practice privately. Ms. Bernard is an advisor to the government, but she's not a public servant in the same capacity as myself and Mr. Minister Cornwall. And so in those circumstances, her business continues. So what I can certainly say to you, that in my capacity as Prime Minister and former Minister of Finance, certainly if any applications were to come to Cabinet that in any way or form would have been coming from or emanating from, because the way CBI works is you can have applications that might have been started an entire year ago but would not reach Cabinet. We certainly have recused ourselves.
There is a due diligence process that,
So we certainly would have recused ourselves from any decision as to whether or not to grant approval in those circumstances. I can certainly say to you, in my time in Cabinet, there's only been one instance where I had to do so. And I believe there's been one instance where Minister Cornwall would have had to do so. And obviously the Minister would have reflected that we would not have been part of the decision.
Now, Prime Minister, what have you done and other members of your administration who were CBI agents before the election to ensure to minimize notions of conflicts of interest? So in other words, as your law firm registered as a CBI agent, so is Mr. Cornwall and Ms. Andrea St. Bernard. What are you doing to ensure that there are no conflicts of interest there?
Well, just to clarify, my law firm has never been a CBI agent. That's what.
Well, except on the website. Go ahead.
No, let me finish. I've been at pains to say that. I was a partner, not my firm, myself, was a partner in a separate business called Mitchell and Partners, where I was the principal of that entity. Both as relates to my law firm and that entity, I do not practice. Right? Okay. So that's clear, and I've made that clear. I do not work in my law firm, nor do I work in Mitchell and Partners, and so I certainly have nothing to do with this. In fact, I think I've made a point. I've been at pains to communicate to the CBI office repeatedly that obviously I'm not a practicing CBI agent. Similarly, I'm not a practicing attorney at law because I am unable to do so. And the same, I think, applies for Honorable Minister Cornwall, who holds a ministerial portfolio. So therefore, as a public servant, he can't practice privately. Ms. Bernard is an advisor to the government, but she's not a public servant in the same capacity as myself and Mr. Minister Cornwall. And so in those circumstances, her business continues. So what I can certainly say to you, that in my capacity as Prime Minister and former Minister of Finance, certainly if any applications were to come to Cabinet that in any way or form would have been coming from or emanating from, because the way CBI works is you can have applications that might have been started an entire year ago but would not reach Cabinet. We certainly have recused ourselves.
There is a due diligence process that,
so we certainly would have recused ourselves from any decision as to whether or not to grant approval in those circumstances. I can certainly say to you, in my time in Cabinet, there's only been one instance where I had to do so. And I believe there's been one instance where Minister Cornwall would have had to do so, and obviously.
And we do not know how many times since then, because remember there has been a flurry of applications, especially Russian applications that came in after this interview, because at that time with that interview, Miss Andrea St. Bernard was not yet a diplomat. She was just an advisor. Because one of my follow-up questions would have been, is she a paid advisor? And if she is a paid advisor, is she being paid by the government of Grenada or any statutory body? Because if that is so, then she falls under the ambit of the Integrity in Public Life Act. But not just that, the same individual, Miss Andrea St. Bernard, is also a director on the Grenlec board, and I believe she is either chairperson or deputy chairperson on the board of directors of the Grenada Development Bank. The Integrity in Public Life Act is clear that people who are part of one of the statutory bodies, they are on the board of the statutory bodies and so on, that they are under the Integrity in Public Life Act. In particular, those people, I'm not taking calls right now, friends, they are under the ambit of the Integrity in Public Life Act, and we'll revisit that act in a short while. Yeah, we will revisit that act in a short while. But I want to hear, let me see what we have with Mr. Cornwall speaking in relation to the CBI program. And so I wonder what he had to say in relation to it. I can't remember the question. Let's hear what he had to say in relation to this particular one.
I mean that the CBI program has been downgraded because of the prospect that we may lose some of the Russian clients that we have had on board in the past. I agree that there might be some downside to that. Notwithstanding, we have been trying to see if we can basically look at other areas in the world to see if we can boost our CBI applicants there. I also want to basically say that sometimes I hear on the road that Grenada or Grenadians are selling passports and all those issues. The program is not about just selling passport. The program has two areas. One, that the funds are channeled through the National Transformation Fund, as well as the other source goes towards the funding of the approved projects that are in the system. Notwithstanding, at the end of the day, the person becomes eligible for a Grenada passport. And to tout it at just sale of passport to foreigners and so on, and we are giving away our patrimony. I think all of these are utter nonsense, and people need to understand and educate themselves a little bit more.
Just remember, on record is the former Prime Minister Tillman Thomas. Yeah, the same person that they put to act as Governor General, and all of us know they want to make the Governor General anyway, that individual was out there saying that exactly what he's saying is nonsense. He was saying that that's fact. But anyway, we'll get back to that one.
And what the CBI program is all about. The program was started under the former administration. I think it's in 2013 or 2015 thereabout. I could be corrected there. But notwithstanding that, the program has served Grenada well and continues to serve Grenada well. And we, if we are persons that feel that we should not allow foreigners to come to our country, I would say think again, because Grenada population as it is right now still need to grow further to ensure that we can continue growing our country futuristically. If we have a situation where people are not making kids and the population that should sustain our NIS and other social programs and so on are not there, then we have difficulties. So I think our country needs to understand that we need more population to help the growth initiative that we have in our country. I'm not simply talking about we are selling passports to criminals and all those nonsense outside it.
Now, folks, just remember, it has never been the New National Party that was making statements out there about selling passports to criminals. It was never the New National Party that said that the CBI program is a conduit to criminal activities and negative on the country. It has always been the National Democratic Congress, because these people are gaslighting you. Yes, gaslighting is the actual term. Into believing that it was the NNP that has been attacking the CBI program. Again, the New National Party has never been the ones attacking the CBI program. My goodness, we were the ones that brought back the CBI program. In fact, I was still a member of Parliament when the act was passed to reinstate the CBI program. So it is the New National Party that reinstated the program. And you hear all the praise that Grenada have a good program, it was properly run and all that sort of thing. But it wouldn't tell you that it was a good program instituted by the New National Party government, that it was a good program run under the New National Party, because both the individual talking, who is now the Minister of Finance, who gives the concessions to the various companies who are involved in CBI in Grenada now, both that individual and the Prime Minister of the country and the trade diplomat that they have, all three were CBI agents under the New National Party and continue to be CBI agents now. So whether they want to say that the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister want to say that they are not practicing CBI agents, but the company exists. So if you, the individual, So, okay, you own a bus. You get, let me say you play the lotto, and tonight when you check your ticket, you realize, boy, you hit them. Right, so you buy a bus. So you give your neighbor who you know could drive and everything and is a safe driver, has been driving bus for years and was looking for opportunity to drive. You give your neighbor the bus to drive. You say, hey, you drive the bus for me. So when the neighbor comes back every day, who they bringing the money for? Who the bus for? Who the money coming to? Is the neighbor keeping all the money? The bus belongs to you. So when they're out there driving the bus and they bring back the money is coming back to you. So to say that you are not practicing, yes, you are not driving the bus, but you own the bus, and the bus is on the road. In other words, your company is still an active CBI company, and you have a position which can influence whether or not individuals who have applied to the program are successful under the program. Is your lasha pen that gives citizenship to these individuals, that allows them to then apply and get a passport as Prime Minister. Yet still, you own the company. Can't anybody see that something is wrong with that picture? So you're telling me none of them could see that something is wrong with that picture? And then we're not even coming to the Russians yet, you know. I keep saying we will come to this, we will come to that, and I realize 9 o'clock gone already, you know. Yeah? But something is not right. And in fact, let me see if I can find it here. The Integrity in Public Life Act. I want to get that because I want to show exactly why I am saying that some of what is taking place here, what we're seeing here, is wrong. It definitely is wrong. And let me see if I can pull up. Oh boy, I don't know where I have it now. Come on, where's the Integrity in Public Life Act? I have to do a search for it now. But definitely, what is presently taking place, what obtains when it comes to this particular issue, what is taking place here is wrong. The Integrity in Public Life Act speaks not just to actual corruption. Again, it speaks to the perception of corruption. And this opens out the perception of corruption. Let me just take 1 minute while I locate the actual file itself so I can bring it up for you.
Man, there is a place that is under the sun, 133 square miles. Even though we're very small, come visit, you'll have a ball. I tell you, this is a paradise. A lot of people don't know we have nutmeg and cocoa. That is how we came the Isle of Spice.
And folks, I'm going to hold on the phone lines. I'm going to hold on the phone calls until a little later.
This is when we became recognized. But that wasn't sufficient. We wanted independence, so we could be proud like Trinidad. Gary came back from England, that day was liberation. He brought back the ice, gold and green flag. Happy anniversary, happy anniversary to my little country. Now won't you join with me and sing this melody? We celebrating 50. Let us live in unity. Put away political party. Even the blind could see. This year is history, our golden jubilee.
All right, yes. So the Integrity in Public Life Act right, of 2013. In fact, yes, again, it was the New National Party that brought this act into effect. So it's the Integrity in Public Life Act of 2013, Act number 24 of 2013. And there are various sections of it. The first section, you speak to the establishment of the Integrity Commission and who the members are, what rules they have to follow, etc., etc., etc. Also the commission, that it has to put together a budget, when the budget should be in, all of those sort of things, keeping their accounts and all of that. Then it speaks to financial disclosure. I myself have had to do the financial disclosure part of things as a person in public life, where there are some forms that you have to fill out. You have to say basically if you have, what bank accounts you have, how much you have in the bank accounts, if you have loans at any financial institutions, it doesn't have to just be the bank, the credit union, whether it's like Fast Cash. I don't know if Fast Cash exists anymore. I don't hear about them. Don't think they exist anymore. But Fast Cash and all those things, or even if it's with courts or whatever debts that you have to state it on those financial disclosures. Yeah? On top of that, you also have to do that for your wife or husband. So if you're married, it's not just you disclosing, but you have to disclose any bank accounts and all the same things for your husband or your wife. Because you easily, remember, some people could just hide it under the wife name or hide it under the husband name. So the law is very clear. You also have to declare the accounts of your husband or your wife, but it doesn't stop there. Also, any of your children under the age of 18. If somebody is over the age of 18, your children, and so then they go on their way, they have their own stuff, that is one thing. But any children you have under the age of 18, and you may find it very, sort of funny, but even if they have the little saving unions in the school, you have to declare all that too. You have to declare everything. Yeah? So I went through that process. I have my certificate. It's home somewhere. I have my certificate in relation to that. And others would have their certificates that went through the same process of financial disclosure and so on. So that if anybody accuses you of anything, they can say, well, okay, this is what this person has. And it even goes back to any things that you have disposed of within, if I could remember correctly, the 3 years previous to your disclosure. So you, just before you came into public office, you had some property and thing and you went and you hide it because you sell it to this person or you give it to that person, any vehicles, different things, like all of that. You have to declare all those things. Yeah? I don't know if the people who are in office now did that, but I know Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell led the way under his government when it came to ensuring that we all gave our financial information to the Integrity in Public Life Commission. The Integrity Commission, all our information is there. All right? So there's the code of conduct. But the most important part, and the part I want to get to, they have things here like the lists of people who are under the Integrity Commission. And just kind of speeding through here. The list of people, let me see if I can pull that part up. The list of people who are supposed to be the first schedule of the Integrity in Public Life. It speaks to the people who have to make financial disclosures to the Integrity Commission. They call on them from time to time. And they're speaking here about members of the commission, right? Members of the House of Representatives. So everybody who sits in the House of Representatives, who won their seat and sitting there, they have to make they have to give their information in the way that I was speaking about. All members of the Senate, the President of the Senate, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, all parliamentary secretaries. You now have a parliamentary secretary in Senator Quince Britton. He's a parliamentary secretary. He has to make, and he already qualified as well as a member of the Senate. So he has to make that application. Secretary to the cabinet. I'd be interested if the secretary to this cabinet has done one. Anyway, permanent secretaries, deputy permanent secretaries, senior administrative officer, budget officer, accountant general. So the list is long. All police officers, clerk of parliament, commissioner, all of these people, magistrates, legal officers employed by the state, director of audit, all of these people, members of the tenders board, members of the Public Service Commission, right? So all of these people, all of these different sets of people, all public officers, including non-established officers, receiving a salary in excess of $2,000 per month. I am pretty sure that if Miss Andrea St. Bernard has been an advisor at the time that the Prime Minister was speaking, an advisor to the government of Grenada, it may not have been pro bono. It should have been a paid position, and if it was a paid position, I'm pretty sure it was over $2,000 per month, and as such, she falls under the Integrity in Public Life Act. So what he was basically saying was absolute nonsense. Yeah? And it also says here, chairperson and deputy chairperson of statutory bodies. And as I mentioned, she's not the chairperson of the Grenlec board, but when it comes to the Grenada Development Bank board, if I remember correctly, she's supposed to be the deputy chairperson or the chairperson. I can't remember exactly which one. I'll have to check again in a while. Yeah? So there are the various oaths that have to be taken here, but I am going down here. These are the things, you see, the you have to give your vehicle, the description, the owner, the particulars of a vehicle that you have. So the description, the owner's name, age of vehicle, all of this you have to give. This is what the New National Party had put in place when they're calling people all sorts of names and saying who is thief and this and that and the other. It was the same people that were calling all these things that put this legislation in place, and not just put it in place to say it there, but ensured that each of us went in and gave the required information to the Integrity Commission. Yeah? Down to the purchase price of the vehicle you had to put inside there. I remember having to go and try and find, right? Values held in safety deposit boxes by declarant spouse and children. All of this information. I don't know if this group has done it, but I know that the New National Party members, to a man and woman, did it and brought in that information. The most important section here in relation to tonight's discussion, and sorry to sound like we in school tonight, but I think people need to know these things, and that is why I'm going over it tonight. Yeah? And we're going to go over the sixth schedule. These are basically the rules, the code of conduct for people in public life. And you saw the list of people there. You saw the list of people who are under this law. Right? So you have one there. Let me see, right? A person in public life has a duty to take all necessary action to comply with the provisions of this code. A person in public life should carry out his or her duties in accordance with the law and with these lawful instructions and ethical standards that relate to his or her function. Right? Can you really say a person in public life should act in a politically neutral manner and should not attempt to frustrate the lawful policies, decisions, or citations of a public authority? We don't know if that is happening right now. Can you say that is happening right now? Yeah? And various other aspects here. Yeah? In the performance of his or her duties, a person in public life shall not act arbitrarily to the detriment of any person, group, or body, and shall have regard for the rights, duties, and proper interests of all others. On that alone, if we're speaking of Ron Redhead and what he has done in relation to the LA Purcell Estate, he's in breach of the Public Life Act Schedule 6, Part 6. Because he has acted to the detriment of somebody's property. Just send people, break down fence. But 7, a person in public life shall not allow his or her private interest to conflict with his or her public position. And it is clear that we have 3 people who are in that exact position right now. Because remember, while they ain't driving the bus, while they ain't conducting on the bus and collecting the money on the bus belongs to them. So all the money that the bus making go into the owner. They go pay the driver and the conductor. They go repair the bus. They go fix what they have to fix, and after you take out gas and thing. But the rest of money is still theirs. But they just ain't driving, so to say you're not practicing. If you're the owner and you said you're the principal partner. Yeah? So it says here, under the Integrity in Public Life Act of 2013, in the 6th schedule of that act, and Section 7, a person clearly, and I mean all of us, we could read and we could understand, a person in public life shall not allow his or her private interest to conflict with his or her public position. So you should not be the Minister of Finance who has to give concessions to CBI projects and yet still have a company that is actively involved in the CBI program. Right? Or that has not been removed from Grenada's CBI program. It shall be the responsibility of the person in public life to avoid such conflicts of interest, whether real, whether they're doing it for real, potential. There's the potential that that sort of corruption that we have mentioned can take place, or apparent. We don't know if it is taking place, but if we see certain ministers start to live above their means, or you realize that they always have cash on hand and it's not way above what their salary would allow them to have, that might be apparent. So Section 7, it shows that the Prime Minister of Grenada at this point in time, and I'm not asking the question, I'm not saying if, what, or maybe, I'm saying that your Prime Minister at this point in time is in breach in the Integrity in Public Life Act. Even if you're just speaking about Section 7, but let's go through the rest. A person in public life shall not take advantage of his or her position for his or her private interest. So let's say you're the Prime Minister of Grenada and there's a CBI conference in Dubai where you have various CBI marketing agents and so on attending there who would need the services of a local company in Grenada. And by the way, you, the Prime Minister, just happen to be partner in a company like that. And you take with you when you're going on that trip the treasurer of your political organization who also happens to have such a company available. Is that not in contravention of Section 8 of the Integrity in Public Life Act, which speaks clearly that a person in public life should not take advantage of his or her position for his or her private interest? A person, again, so they're in breach in 2 so far, 7 and 8. Well, in others, but let's focus on 7 and 8. It says here, a person in public life shall always conduct himself or herself in such a way that the public's confidence and trust in the integrity, impartiality, and effectiveness of the public service are preserved and enhanced. Yeah? It calls on a person in public life here, on 11, a person in public life who believes that he or she is being required to act in a way which is unlawful, improper, unethical, which involves maladministration, or which is otherwise inconsistent with this code, should report the matter in accordance with the law. And even more important, under Schedule 6 of the Integrity in Public Life Act, there's Part 1, Part 2. Under Part 2, it speaks to conflict of interest. So let's see if what we've said before about the 3 individuals that we've spoken about, if by speaking in relation to what we've said on them, that we are speaking of a conflict of interest. A conflict of interest arises from a situation in which a person in public life, being a prime minister, a minister of finance, or a diplomat, advisor, board member, chair or deputy chair of a board in Grenada, right? A person in public life, right? A conflict arises from a situation in which a person in public life has a private interest which can influence. So a private interest, like you have a CBI company, has a private interest which can influence or appear to influence, not just influence, but the appearance that it is influencing. So you can't be going in Dubai and speaking in these forums and so on, and you are a local agent. That's a conflict of interest under the Integrity in Public Life Act. And I'll tell you, had this happened under Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, you would have seen them with the placards protesting. They would have been on every radio station. They would have been on every television station. They would have been marching in the streets. They would have been calling international bodies to say all kind of thing about Grenada. But no, because it is Deacon Mitchell, Dennis Cornwall, and Andrea St. Bernard, all mouth lock. Not mine. Not mine. Yeah, I know they want to lock it. Let them come and try. Yeah, all you feel is me alone. I ain't talking about human. The Holy Ghost fire. Anyhow, a person, and the second part of conflict of interest, it says a person in public life, private interest includes any advantage to himself or herself, to his or her family, close relatives, friends and persons or organizations with whom he or she has had business for potential relations. That is clear. That is a clear breach that is taking place now. All three companies should be struck off of the list. That is the only way that this conflict of interest does not exist. If all three companies, the one that the Prime Minister has an interest in, the one that the Minister of Finance has an interest in, and the one that the Trade Diplomat has an interest in, the only way that Section 2 of the Conflict of Interest under Part 2 of Schedule 6 of the Integrity in Public Life Act, the only way that is satisfied is if all three are struck off the scroll, and it has to be gazetted. They don't just say, oh, let's take it off. It has to go through a process. It must be in the Gazette. So the only way that can happen is if all three are struck off of the list. Because let me read that part again, part 2 for you of part 2. A person in public life, private interest includes any advantage to himself or herself, to his or her family, close relatives, friends and persons or organizations with whom he or she has had business for potential relations. It also includes any liability, whether financial or work relating thereto. Yeah, and then Section 3 speaks to what the person needs to do to make sure that they're not in conflict. Part 3 speaks to incompatibility of outside interests, and that's Part 3 of Schedule 6. It's in various parts. Part 3 of Schedule 6. A person in public life shall not engage in any activity or transaction or acquire any position or function, whether paid or unpaid, that is incompatible with or detracts from the proper performance of his or her duties as a public official. They in breach day again. Where it is not clear whether an activity is compatible, he or she should seek advice from the Commission. As the Prime Minister sought advice from the Commission as to whether the company that he has shares in remains as a CBI company, has the Minister of Finance or the Treasurer of the NDC done so? A person in public life shall comply with any lawful requirement to declare membership of or association with organizations that could detract from his or her proper performance of his or her duties as a person in public life. Yeah? So when we speak of conflicts of interest, we are not just saying things. We are not just pulling these things out of the air. We are not lying on anyone. We have been able to show you exactly what we are referring to, where you can find it. Yeah? As we said, yeah, you could go to the CBI site. This is the CBI site, cbi.gov.gd. Let me say that again, cbi.gov.gd. You can go there, right? You can check for yourself. I don't own this. This is government website. Yeah? You could go, there's becoming a citizen. You could learn all about the processes and so. And you go to the local agents. You can get the list of local agents. Who are the local agents for Grenada? And you would see the various companies there. Yeah, Mitchell and Partners there. They trying to hide, so they take out the Prime Minister name because he say he ain't practicing. So he ain't driving these days. He own the bus, but he ain't driving these days. So, movie names. So you just send info and at whatever and all kind of thing there, right? And then you have, Mr. Cornwall. Yeah, his thing is here. They finally took his name off because his name was there up until about 2 months ago. His name was still there, but this company is the company that involves Mr. Cornwall, or Minister of Finance, Citizenship and Corporate Services Limited. Yeah, ask them where the office is located. Ask them where that office is located. Montparnasse. Ask them where that office is located. ASB Limited, Andrea St. Bernard. Right? So, me line are showing all you where to find these things. Let's go to the phone line. We have a call online. Hello, good night.
Hey, good night, Sheldon. What happened to the program? I see you come on twice and then you cut off.
I am on, my dear.
I'm not getting you?
Well, you need to refresh your page. We're on. You need to refresh your page. We are on.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. Yeah, that has to be on your end. I am seeing people connected here. Yes, Chrissy. Chrissy says, I own a bus and not driving, but making the decisions and collecting the money at the end of the day. Yeah. You own the bus. You own it. So when the money come in, it's yours. After you pay staff, you pay this, you pay that, you understand? Yeah, so anybody else having a problem like that? I'm seeing folks on. So I don't think there is a problem on my end. Nurse Maguire, good night to you, my dear. I hope everything is going all well and okay with you. Yeah? Yeah, so, we're opening the line 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on the inside. What we have actively taking place in Grenada is a clear instance of conflict of interest. We have a call online. Hello? Oh boy, no, you're going to have to call back because whatever is wrong with your phone line there, we can't hear you. Yeah, I didn't even go forward with it. You have to hang up and call back. That connection, bad. It sounds like you're underwater or some kind of thing there. All right? Yeah. No, somebody saying Orlando, Gale, and Cavalette is our next tree. I see them talking about customs and so on. They must ask the cabinet secretary about customs and, when things going wrong in customs. They must ask the cabinet secretary. Yes, Ms. Cavalette. They must ask her how they could address these kind of issues. Yes, she might have some personal insight to how they could deal with when wrong things going on in customs. I know you can't assume it. We have a call online. Good night. Hello, good night.
Sheldon.
Yes, sir.
Good night.
Good night to you, sir.
Listen me.
I am listening. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, right. You have two political parties in Grenada, two active political parties in Grenada.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, if the present government lose election and the other one comes in, at least investigate these issues that you are talking about now?
Mm-hmm. I missed the last part of what you said.
I see. You have two parties, two active parties.
Yeah,
in
I got that part, yeah.
Right. And let's say the government lose the election, and the other party comes in, and they want to take action. Could they do that?
Of course you can.
Right. Listen me. I want to make my part straight. I think during that time, according to all the circumstances that you give there, I think I want a job too, Just listen me carefully. I think I want a job. Listen me. Everybody knows that in Grenada, I was one of the best investigators they had in this country. They know that, for sure. I investigated the bomb blast in Queen's Park. After that, they started, the army started beating up a lot of people. We investigated a lot of people. The actions, and that is concerning with Bernadette Bailey that got the that died in Queensburg there, right? And I went in court a lot of time and give evidence concerning all these things and them. So I'm sure I'm capable enough. So I'm making my part straight now through you that I need a job during that time if I'm still alive.
Mm-hmm. No problem, my brother. You're gonna be alive, man. God gonna bless you.
Because I think I need to take some more active action again on behalf of the country.
Okay, my brother. No
you
problem.
Take care of yourself.
You apply early, brother.
Yes. That is how you have to do it.
Oh, goodness. All right. Thank you.
Care.
440-7377. That's 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Yes. Any administration can investigate such things if they deem it necessary to do so. Yes, you can investigate such things. All right. 440-7377. That's the number to call. You can also call us on the WhatsApp. We've got a call online. Good night.
Yes, Sheldon, good night. I hope you're hearing me good now.
I hear you very clearly. Something was wrong with how you called just now.
Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
My question is regarding the CBI program. How long will that continue? We have this now, the Russians and all the other countries, they're not being, looked at, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So indirectly, I don't want to use the word neglect, but to some extent, okay? And then we have something else in making in the Middle East region, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, those countries, this thing, what we see and what we're hearing is completely different to what the build-up is like. So how long would we be relying on the CBI program? Yeah? Because if this is the only way we see for the past 2 years we are generating money, I mean, it is very sad. We don't have nothing else in making.
What I would say is that there are various threats right now to the CBI program. One of them is coming through the European Parliament, where they are now. Grenada, for instance, has what they call a Schengen visa, which allows a Grenadian citizen to travel through Europe once you're staying under 90 days or 60 days, according to the place you're going, without the need for a visa. So we can go to France, Germany, etc., European Union without the need for a visa. Yeah? Because we have what they call Schengen. We're one of the Schengen countries. We are allowed to, once we enter the European Union, we can travel around once we're not staying over a certain time without the need for a visa. Some other countries don't have that, which is why they want a Grenada passport, so they'd have that sort of access and not have to go through the visa process and so. But we are at the cusp of possibly losing that. At the cusp of possibly losing that because of what has been taking place recently with the influx of Russians in Grenada's CBI program. And they're still processing Russians under the program as of today.
Well, for me personally, Sheldon, what I see CBI program, let me say it's a good program. But it is like you have a business and then you have a side business which owns a pocket change if you want, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or a safe pocket change. But what will happen, we've seen there are other Caribbean islands that have these programs as well, I assume, right? And then if you have that program and I have it and somebody else, everybody is going to look into one another and try to better there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how long, my question is, how long will we have this and how long would we hoping and lasting on? Because you see, you have a future, you have 100,000 people plus. I mean, we just cannot be milking on one thing. We have to have other plans. Yeah? We just cannot be thinking one way. We have, because, I mean, this thing is not just helping out everybody. We could see there's a drop in the economy, and we want to get it, correct and move on. But then, and the cost of living is high. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to develop agriculture to reduce your food input bill, there are many other ways we could do things locally, even to make some changes. Yeah, we not, because at a point in time this will come to an end. Maybe not to the fullest, but to some extent.
As I can say, as I said, there are moves by various territories. Already the US has put some stuff in place in relation to that specific visa that Grenadians were allowed to get. Other Caribbean countries couldn't get it, but it was a special visa in relation to business and so on. That was a special thing Grenada had. The US is putting some restrictions in relation to that now on Grenadians because of, and not just that you have a CBI program, but because of how the program is now being managed, that all other countries weren't letting people from Russia in, but here were you, our doors are open, come. Yeah?
Because you see, we're trying to use that program to create the economic activities because we don't really have nothing going for us at this present time. Okay? But that is where all you see this thing happening. That's why I said in the beginning that we could have this as a sideline, but not at a full-fledged. Let's do something different to have our country to get some economic benefits. We're not seeing that. Yeah?
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay, caller. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
And of course, yes, you, as a government, you always have to have alternative means of developing your country and alternative means of improving your economy and all of that. You have to have those things in place, but you're not getting that from this administration. You're getting pipe dreams and a sort of fake thing that they have some guys using artificial. Imagine this present administration, instead of focusing on real projects and developing Grenada, has a team of individuals, paid team of individuals, generating a set of fake stuff that they are sowing all over YouTube and social media to give people outside the impression that, well, I don't know if they're trying to give people the impression that Grenada is the Dubai of the Caribbean or some kind of thing. But a set of fake thing that they keep putting together and creating these little videos and putting them out. And so like if nobody, it's them that doing it. Yeah? And like if nobody, the artificial intelligence programs that they're using to create these things. But they keep creating that because they don't believe that you're intelligent enough to know that what they're putting out there is fake and that is them doing it. So they continue to put these things out there. Yeah? Don't worry, I will show you all what I'm talking about during next week. And to my good friend Nurse McGuire, I hope that your mom is much better. Yeah, I hope that she is much better. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. Definitely, these are conflicts of interest. And let me tell you all, there are other conflicts of interest too, Because the Integrity in Public Life Act that we just went over, if we go back to conflict of interest, let's go back to this. And we speak here to Section 1 and Section 2. Outside of the law that is in place for the Grenada Development Bank, that says that no ministers should be receiving funds from the Grenada Development Bank, and no family members, close family members, as in brothers, sisters, husband, wife, children of government ministers or members of the board should be receiving monies from the Grenada Development Bank. Yet still, there are 2 instances, at least. We're hearing it might be more, but at least 2 instances of sitting government ministers using the GDB like it's the piggy bank. But it says here, a person in public life, private interest includes any advantage to him or herself. And if you didn't have 1.7 million and you could go to the GDB and get 1.7 million because you is the minister and the GDB, that is an advantage that you've given to yourself. If your business outside of the business that you've been doing is failing and you're a government minister and you get $2.something million from the Grenada Development Bank, then your private interest is taking advantage of your public interest and your public position. So you are in breach of Part 2. Outside of being in breach of the act that covers the Grenada Development Bank, you're also in breach of the Integrity in Public Life Act. And that's not a if, that is not a maybe, that is not a it could be, it's a straight case that you are in breach. A straight case that you are in breach of the Integrity in Public Life Act. We're not asking the question, We're just making sure that you know that we know that you are in breach of the Integrity in Public Life Act. Yeah? And I think we have a caller on the WhatsApp. Let's try and see if we can get that call in on the WhatsApp. 440-7377. We have a call on the WhatsApp. Hello, good night.
Hey, good night, Brother Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
Yeah. Brother Sheldon, when you look at the government and what they're doing, it seems to the Grenadian people that this government didn't come to serve people. They come to make money, to get rich off the back of the Grenadian people. It seems like that? Because in the CBI program, Brother Sheldon, I could testify and say there is no government ministers under the previous administration was a CBI agent. None. We have three. You have the treasurer, the minister of finance, and the prime minister. Right? And Brother Sheldon, this is conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. Because he said he removed his name. Right? But Brother Sheldon, okay, like you have a bus company.
Oops. Oh dear. Caller, you'll have to call. Sorry about that. You'll have to call back. Yeah? Give us a call back. Sorry about that. That was not your doing. That was my doing. Give us a call back. I'm very sorry about that. Yeah, I was trying to pull up some information here, and it was giving me a little issue here. Give me a call back. Oh boy, yeah. But anyway, 440-73. I'm very sorry about that, caller. Give us a call back. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. You know, before I go back to the phone lines, let me just, on something when I was heading home last night, I saw a post by a former work colleague of mine in relation to the independence celebrations, and they were stating that in order to utilize the new logo, that was created, to utilize it, to have the rights to utilize it, that you have to apply for permission from the Independence Committee in order to utilize the logo. I thought the logo belonged to all of us because it's all $15 million paid to develop that logo and all kind of thing, you know. But they're saying that's how people are generally not allowed to utilize the logo, and you have to apply for permission to utilize the logo and all this kind of thing. And I'm wondering, well, what madness they're talking about here? And then they made an accusation, and I am working on confirming that as well, that you also, hear me out, there's only about 3 or so people that have their companies that have the permission to utilize the logo. And these 3 people are people that are deep in the thing. In other words, it's like the insider trading is taking place when it comes to utilizing the logo. So for instance, if you decided that you have a print company and you wanted to go and print some, let's say, decals to place on buses and sell, that you can't do that. You have to get permission from the Independence Committee. You have to get written permission from them to be able to use the logo and print those stickers to place on buses and that sort of thing. Or if you are doing some independence t-shirts and you want to somewhere, let's say on the arm or somewhere, you want to place the logo of the 50th anniversary of independence, that you are not allowed to do that. You have to apply to the committee, and that only 3 or so people thus far have been okayed to utilize that logo. And those 3 people are very close or within the committee or in the upper echelons of the political organization in power. I find that to be insider trading. Yeah? If what is being said It's true, because I'm also hearing another story that the 15 million that they gave them for independence done and that they're looking for more money. So I want to know where if the 15 million done, where that 15 million done? Anybody that could call and tell me where that 15 million gone, do so. Yeah? Anybody that could tell me where that $15 million gone, please tell me. Because if they already spent $15 million, if they already spent $15 million on Independence 2024, I want to know where it's spent, because I can't see. So what you're telling me, each of those lights on the carriage or something cost 100,000 each or something, huh? Each of those lights on the carriage, maybe, I don't know. Maybe for every 10 feet of lights, it may cost a million. I don't know. But 15 million spent already on what? We have had no major activity. No major activity. Looking over at Jenny Simon's program, I saw they had some kind of parenting. They said they was having some parenting on the carnage. And the only people in attendance were those who were on the stage, the technical people, the people who had to work there, and some stray dog that was passing on the carnage at the point in time. That is all it had there. Yeah? Some stray dog and people, yeah, that is all it had. So I don't know where they're coming with this thing that we're here in there. Yeah? I don't believe me, Grenadians, if they take $15 million for independence, where you gone? Let me ask you all. St. Andrews people, you all see that money? The business community in St. Andrews, all you see out of that 15 million? Even if it's 100,000 coming in that community, well, that is a small amount to come in the business community in St. Andrew. All you see that? Yeah? I really want to know. I'm looking. The carnage could not definitely be. If the carnage costs as much as $1 million, I'll be seriously concerned. Yes, so it definitely ain't that. I ain't seen no major activity that brought out a set of people. That had a set of people outside of the launch. The launch could never be. I've been involved in activities. The launch could never be $1 million. Yes, so don't even try to start there. Right? So the launch might be a couple 100,000. Right? If that. If it reached to all. When you talk about sound system, stage, decorations, because we know it have people who in government right now, in senior positions, who own the companies that doing decoration and all kind of thing for some of these activities. We hearing the talk right now. We hearing a talk that there are planes being chartered to bring down supporters of the National Democratic. I'm not saying Grenadians, supporters of the National Democratic Congress and others that they're hoping to win over to the side of the NDC. There are planes being chartered to bring these people in for the independence celebration. So maybe there's where a couple million gone. Then, instead of utilizing the local person who does do fireworks to help them build capacity and so on and give them an opportunity to be able to get new things in and so on, they probably wanted to try something and they say, well, Grenada 50th anniversary of independence, I might be able to try a new style, I might be able to bring in this or that. From what I'm hearing, a significant amount of money has been paid to an American company. Not they ain't gone by True Blue and them, because True Blue Bay, I know does usually do fireworks and they have 1 or 2 years. They ain't gone by them. They go and they get a Yankee company. My American friends, you know I love you all. But they got an American company to come in to do those things. If it was the New National Party, I tell you what we'd do. We'd speak to the Chinese. And you know the Chinese love Grenada. So we'd speak to the Chinese and we'd say, look, 50th anniversary of independence, so we want assistance with some fireworks, so we might not pay a cent. Knowing the Chinese and knowing the Chinese government, we might not have had to pay a single cent in relation to fireworks. By hearing some millions, well, going to be burnt up in the sky in fireworks and so on out of that 15 million. So if that 15 million done, I mean, they have the Calypso show. The first prize is now $1 million. The first prize is what, 50,000? Or is it that all the prize money amounts to 50,000? I'm hoping that it's the first prize that is 50,000, and then you grade down. You might have a 30 or a 20 and different things. Position number 2, position number 3, and so on. Yeah, and I think they have the appearance fee, 2,000 for the semi-finals, and I think appearance fee for the finals might be 3 or 4. I'm not sure, but with all of that, yeah. All of that. So at least they could have given the fireworks to the locals. Because we celebrating independence, but we still showing that we're dependent on outside when we had people here to be able to do the job. Then you go now, and you get to the stage now, where you go and you charter in flights. So that's where a couple $1 million going into. Well, we know that the banknote, the $50 banknote that's supposed to be coming in February, that $50 50th anniversary banknote, that is about 2-point-something million. So we know where that went. Yeah, whether it will be economically viable is another thing. Whether it would be culturally viable, as in people go and buy it and be proud of it and say this is ours and so on, or somebody will run broke and say, boy, let me spend that 50. Whether it gets to that stage, we don't know, but we're gonna see. Yeah, but what are the activities? St. Patrick's, any other 15 million reached all you up there? Are you feeling the 15 million up in St. Patrick? Carriacou, I know you all are listening. Are you feeling that 15 million in Carriacou tonight? Some of that spent in the business community, some businessmen smiling and so on, that they get a little 10,000 here, a little 15,000 here, because they came and they buy stuff from them, or they get a service from them or so on. But 15 million done already in relation to the 50th anniversary of independence? Nah, man, I find something extremely disturbing. If what I'm hearing is true, I'm not saying it's fully true, I'm saying that's what I'm hearing. If that is true, I'm extremely disturbed. We have a caller online. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Hey, good night, sir. How are you doing?
Last,
yes, sir.
I'm blessed. I hope you are blessed. Since last year, I was saying the same thing you're just saying now.
I remember you did.
A lot of people doubted me. I knew a lot of the money came to America. And look what's happening. I heard, as you said, it's probably finished already. So, sir, go ahead. I predicted that. I knew. God bless you.
All right, my friend. Thank you. Yeah, that caller did call us before Christmas and said that this was taking place, that they had folks that they had been speaking to in New York, the New York area and so on, that they had been speaking to people, organizing them for flights to come down for the independence celebrations. All right? That's what he said. I've heard it on about 2 or 3 different times. I've heard it as well from different people based up there, that this is what is taking place, that the government is spending a significant sum on these flights to get people down for the independence celebrations. Yeah? So I'm asking, out of the 15 million, how much St. Patrick's, how much all you see? How much of that 15 million spent in all your community? Yeah? All you seeing it when all you look around, all you feeling independency? Yeah? St. John, are you feeling very independency? How much of that 15 million spent on the lands? Yeah? How much of that 15 million spent on the lands? Businessmen in St. John, on Upper and Lower Depredine Street. How many of you are feeling the benefits of that 15 million? Those of you in St. Mark. Yeah? Those of you in South St. George. The various businesses. And even the businesses who provide services that this government would require. How many of you are feeling the benefits of the 15 million that we know hearing done, and they need to go and ask for more? We really need to find out what is going on in relation to that. Yeah? So we're hearing a big chunk of it going towards fireworks. So they couldn't check Waggy. They couldn't check Uncle Wag. Uncle Wag would not hit all your hard. He would not hit all your hard. Yeah? And even if he had to buy everything and do it here, and then even if he had to do something with America, and what he might do is bring in the person to teach his people how to do it, so we have the capacity developed here in Grenada that we don't ever have to go and get somebody from outside again to do it. But no, they get a company outside to go and do it. Yeah? Telling you how the new National Party would do it. We'd have checked the Chinese. Yeah, we'd have talked with them. Especially if we had people like the late Elvin Nimrod still around and he talk with each other. That man could have sweet talk people. Every time he talk with them, man, they're giving you fire and works. So you're getting fireworks. So that would have been something that you would not have had to pay for. Yeah? I'm interested in seeing the actual Independence Day itself and how that develops and other aspects and so. So I want to know if Grenadians believe they're actually getting $15 million worth. Yeah? But anyway, that's just me. All right, folks. Before we end tonight, just want to remind you all, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, he'll be on Monday night from 8:30 p.m. on GBN. Yeah? That'll be Monday night on GBN from 8:30 p.m. Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell will be on GBN, but we will be broadcasting via our network. Yeah? We will be broadcasting via our YouTube and Facebook pages. Yeah? And Instagram. Yes, we are on Instagram now as well. Instagram pages and all the other means that we usually, We Noise Radio, and you have 91.9, we're on with them on a Monday nights and so. So no, folks, I can't take a next call. Monday nights with them as well. And we're usually on with Sister Island, so we'll be broadcasting via all those means on Monday night. So Dr. Mitchell will be on, we'll be broadcasting on Monday night with that. On Tuesday night, I will be having, I'm not saying I might have, I will be having a guest on with me via Zoom, of course. We'll be having a guest on Zoom with me. We'll be discussing various issues. I'll put it out on Monday night. I'll put up the graphic, everything, so you'll know exactly who I'm speaking to and the issue that I'm speaking on. All right? So we have a lot to discuss during the week next week, so all you have to stay close. All right? Nice. Again, I am not positive. I was thinking of coming into studio on Monday night to do, but it would just be for a half hour, which I'm wondering if it makes sense to be here for the half hour. You all will message and tell me what to do. If it means come into the studio to walk you all in for the half hour, or if it's best to just do it from home, I can do it from home as well. I don't necessarily need to come in studio, but when I do it from home, I can't come on myself. I could just bring GBN when they start. All right, so folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. In everything you say and do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. Love each and every one of you. It's been great being here with you all this week. I love the interaction. I love the fact that you all are continuing to help spread the message of what is taking place in Grenada, but also making suggestions on what ought to be taking place in our Spice Country. I love that. All right. So folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight and for this week. Looking forward to engaging with you again next week. Remember, Monday night is going to be a kind of different one. We will post something to the Facebook page to let you all know what is taking place. All right. So we will be posting something to the Facebook page to let you all know what is taking place. Folks, that's all the time we have for tonight. Let me see. We go touch Randy as we go in. Yeah, let me touch Randy as we head. No, I'll touch Jerry as we go in, man. Yeah, let me touch Jerry as we go in.
A place that is under the sun, 133 square miles. He Even though we very small, come visit, you'll have a ball. I tell you, this is a paradise. A lot of people don't know we have nutmeg and cocoa. That is how we came the Isle of Spice. So in 1974, Uncle Gary fought for so. That is when we became recognized. But that wasn't sufficient. We wanted independence, so we could be proud like Trinidad. Gary came back from England. That day was liberation. He brought back the ice, gold and green flag. Happy anniversary, happy anniversary to my little country. Now won't you join with me and sing this melody? We celebrating 50. Let us live in unity. Put away political party. Even the blind could see. This year is history, our golden jubilee. Now I know there was a time under the British rule, Grenadian was still treated as slaves. Man, we could not go to school. We wore the white man footstool. Thank God we Uncle Gary was brave. That is why in 51, the man he created a storm. He fought to preserve my heritage. He made the whole sky turn red with very little bloodshed. That is when we turn a brand new page. Equal rights was what we want. That was very important for we to uplift our standard. Black people was not relevant. We could not even walk in pant. Now that part of we history revamp. Happy anniversary, happy anniversary to my little country. Now won't you join with me and sing this melody? We celebrating 50. Let us live in unity. Put away political party. Even the blind could see. This year is history, our golden jubilee. Might have the opinion that we are not independent, and in many ways you are not wrong. But we must have sustenance, not to mention some brilliance, in order for us to move along. Everybody needs someone, no matter your reputation. Sometimes we all need a helping hand. No man is an island. I came to that conclusion. We all need someone to function. This is not time to separate. Time for us to elevate. Grenadian, it's time for you stand proud. We have to articulate. We are an independent state. Now to the whole world we singing loud. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary to my little country. Now won't you join with me and sing this melody? We celebrating 50. Let us live in unity. Put away political party. Even the blind could see. This year is history, our golden jubilee. Now I say before I go, we have some national hero, Aline Francis and Kirani James. I was there to bear witness when Miss Hazel and Regis took Grenada to the Olympics. Then Grenada bought champagne when Miss Jennifer Houston became Miss World in her sweet campaign. Then we have Maurice Bishop, the man lift the country up. Up to now we can't stop call his name. Now you see in Calypso, we have Black Wizard and Ajamo.